The desert always had a way of exposing the truth. No walls to hide behind. No crowds to disappear into. Just miles of open earth and a sky that watched everything. On that morning, the sun rose slow and heavy, spilling golden light over the sand like a secret being revealed 1 inch at a time. And beneath that growing warmth, a Border Patrol agent named Caleb Grant steered his vehicle along a lonely stretch near the U.S. Mexico border. Caleb wasn't the type to seek attention. He did his job. He went home. He lived quietly, peacefully. Which is why the cartel never saw him coming, not really. He parked his SUV near a dry wash, scanning the horizon through binoculars. Tracks in the sand. Fresh. Human. A small group, moving quickly. Smugglers, maybe. Or something far worse. Caleb stepped out of the vehicle, boots crunching softly. And then everything changed. A rustle. A command in Spanish. A shadow. Before he could reach for his radio, rifles appeared from behind a rock formation. 3 men. Then 5. Then more. Hands up, one shouted. Caleb lifted his arms slowly. Calculated. Controlled. He had seen this kind of ambush before, in another life, under another flag. Border Patrol, Caleb said calmly. Let's talk. But the cartel didn't want to talk. They rushed him, zip-tying his hands. Pushing him to the ground. Searching him. He didn't resist. Not yet. Before we go deeper, if you believe that courage doesn't always shout, sometimes it simply breathes, waits, and chooses the right moment, subscribe. This channel is for people who understand the difference between weakness and wisdom. They dragged Caleb into a truck, drove him miles into the desert, and brought him to an abandoned adobe building surrounded by scrub and broken fencing. Inside, shadows clung to the walls, and the smell of dust mixed with gasoline. The leader stepped forward, a tall man in tactical gear, face covered by a black balaclava. You patrol this land, he said. You interfere with business. Today, we teach you a lesson. Caleb's breathing remained steady. He looked at the men. He studied their movements. He analyzed their formation. Not out of fear, but instinct. Because years ago, Caleb Grant wasn't just a Border Patrol agent. He was a Marine sniper. A man trained to think through chaos. A man who had survived worse than this. None of them knew. Hours passed. They kept him tied, forcing him to kneel in the center of the room. Cartel members took turns guarding him, laughing, threatening. Look at him, one said. He's scared. But Caleb wasn't scared. He was calculating. Every doorway. Every shadow. Every weak point. He waited. Patience was a weapon too. Outside, the wind shifted, a low whistle that brought the scent of dust and rain. The guards grew restless. One stepped closer. You think someone will come for you? He sneered. Caleb met his eyes. No, he said softly. I think I'll handle it. The guard laughed. A prisoner? Handle it? Caleb didn't answer. He didn't need to. Just then, the leader re-entered the room. We move him to the ridge, he ordered. Tonight. Caleb knew what that meant. A remote place. A cliff. No witnesses. If something was going to happen, it had to happen before sunset. When the guards lifted him to his feet, Caleb stumbled, intentionally. One leaned down to pull him up. And in that moment, Caleb shifted his weight, twisted his shoulders, and snapped the zip tie against a rock edge he had been inching toward for an hour. The guard reacted too slow. Caleb didn't strike him, he pushed him aside, just long enough to run. Outside, dust exploded beneath his boots as he sprinted behind a wrecked vehicle. Bullets cracked through the air, but Caleb kept moving, every step a memory of training long behind him but never forgotten. He dove behind a boulder, heavy breathing, heartbeat steady, mind razor sharp. He watched the shadows shifting through the dust. 3 men approaching. 2 flanking the left. 1 climbing higher. He didn't need a weapon. He needed timing. The first guard rounded the boulder. Caleb struck his arm, redirecting the rifle downward, not firing it. Then he disarmed him with a twist born from years of discipline. The gun lay in the sand. Caleb didn't pick it up. He didn't want death. He wanted escape. He moved fast, using terrain as cover, slipping between rock and scrub until he reached higher ground overlooking the hideout. From there, he saw something unexpected, flashing lights in the far distance. Back up. Someone had noticed his vehicle abandoned and radio silent. He watched the cartel panic as the lights drew closer, scattering into the desert with shouts and curses. Caleb walked down the ridge slowly, hands raised as the agents approached him. "You all right?" one asked. Caleb nodded. "Took you long enough." They laughed in disbelief, helping him into the SUV. But the story didn't end there. A week later, Caleb returned to duty. His chief called him into the office. "You handled yourself better than most men would have," the chief said. "The report says you stayed calm the whole time." Caleb shrugged. "Calm keeps you alive." The chief smiled. "And alive keeps you promoted." He slid a new badge across the desk. "Senior Field Coordinator." Caleb looked at it quietly, fingers brushing the metal. "You earned it," the chief said. Caleb nodded, not with pride, but with gratitude, for survival, for clarity, for the reminder that strength wasn't loud or cruel. It was patient. Steady. Light in the middle of threat. That evening, Caleb drove back to the desert ridge. The wind was softer. The horizon glowed like a promise. He stood there, breathing deeply, letting the silence say what words couldn't. He survived. He grew. He rose. And though the world could be violent, unfair, unpredictable, there was still room for resilience, and for the men who refused to be broken. If this story stayed with you, subscribe. Because here, we tell stories where strength doesn't need revenge, only truth.